Hey everybody, welcome to a special Facebook Live with Flow Living. I'm Alisa Vitti, founder of Flow Living. Today's a special day. We have something new to share, something I've been working on for a while. I am so excited. And I can't wait to tell you all about it. Thank you all for joining me. Please let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm always happy to see all of my Flow sisters from around the world. So I'm going to get right to it because I'm like so excited. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's hard for me to keep a secret. Amazing. Thank you, Michaela. Okay, so listen. Since I launched Flow Living, I have been on a mission to make living with hormones better. We deserve to have an easy, understandable, simple solution for all the things that we go through across our reproductive years. I mean, I've come through this from my own experience. As many of you know, I struggled with PCOS tremendously in my teens and early 20s. I'm just seeing all of your comments. Hi, everybody. New York, Georgia, Mexico, California, Chicago. Welcome. Keep letting me know where you're tuning in from. I'm so glad, Tiffany, you're getting results. Not surprised, but very glad. And you know, my own experience with PCOS and with really seeing the limitations in conventional medicine for these everyday chronic systemic hormonal issues, you know, just really opened my eyes to the fact that we needed some innovation around women's hormonal health care. And that is how Flow Living was born. And I have been on a mission to make the products and build the platform that makes you navigating your hormonal ups and downs as easy as humanly possible. And I haven't intended to do a lot of firsts, but I think because nobody loves periods as much as I do, I just happen to be the first one to do a few things like go on national television and simulate menstrual blood color to help people understand how that color might help them interpret what their hormones are doing in real time. They did that on the Dr. Oz show back in, I think it was 2013. And then I was the first female biohacker to be invited to speak on the main stage at South by Southwest. And I've done a bunch of other firsts, and today is another first. And I'm just so excited. And I want to give you a little backstory about how this new product came to be. It really came out of two things. The first is that, you know, in the past 100 years, probably more, but let's just say the past 100 years, there really hasn't been a lot of innovation when it comes to dealing with all the symptoms that we experience because of our hormones, right? We get breakouts and bloating and mood swings. And, you know, aside from, you know, the birth control situation, oral or otherwise, which shuts off your hormones, there hasn't been any innovation. There's lots of spot treatments, you know, zit creams for your breakouts and heating pads for your cramps and, you know, painkillers for the pain and things of this nature. But it's, you know, there's a lot of these spot treatments that just don't get you to the finish line as far as how you want to feel when it comes to addressing these symptoms. And not to mention, it's expensive to chase all these symptoms around with different potions and products and things, and they just keep coming back every single month. It's not like you're investing in something that's then going to get you, you know, like a fix, right? So there's that. And spot treatments can't work, right? Because, you know, from a sort of science point of view or how your biology works, by the time you have that symptom, right? By the time you have the breakouts, by the time you have the cramps, your hormones have already been deeply imbalanced, and no sort of top-down spot treatment is going to really resolve anything at that root cause level. So there's that. And the second thing is that, I'm always listening to you. This is a dynamic relationship, me and your issues, right? What your feedback is. And I know that you struggle with different symptoms across the cycle. So here's the facts that I want you to know. Listen, you have 4 phases to your cycle. They each have a predictable set of a unique hormonal cocktail or ratio, right? The follicular phase has certain amounts of estrogen. The ovulatory phase has a lot more estrogen, and some other hormones start becoming in play there. The luteal phase introduces the progesterone into the party, and the menstrual phase has low levels of all your hormones. So it's a predictable and unique pattern to these hormonal ratios. So that's a fact that every woman has that experience. Unfortunately, along with those predictable hormones, we can also, if we are not supporting our cycle as a whole, and if you haven't learned about the Infradian Rhythm and haven't picked up In the Flow, which is the first book to talk about, oh yes, another first, the first book to talk about the Infradian Rhythm, please pick it up. The paperback just came out today, so you can go online where books are sold and buy the paperback version, which is so cool. There's a few updates to the food chart and exciting things there too. But if you haven't checked that out, we have videos, we have all sorts of things about your infradian rhythm so that you can understand why it's important to take care of your hormones in this special way. But because of these predictable hormonal ratios throughout each phase of your cycle, we can be, without proper support, more vulnerable to a predictable set of symptoms that align with each particular phase, right? So like the follicular phase, right after your period ends, we can feel more fatigued if we haven't cared for our infradian rhythm, right? So if we did too much intense exercise in the luteal and the menstrual phase, if we didn't eat enough calories in that phase, by the time you finish your bleed and you're in the follicular phase, you can feel really burnt out and fatigued, right? In the ovulatory phase, with that super surge of estrogen, depending on how your liver is breaking that down or not successfully, you can experience estrogen dominance, and that can show up in, acne, breakouts, mid-cycle pain, ovarian pain, bloating, breast tenderness, anything that, can feel like a mini PMS few days. Then in the luteal phase, again, if we're not supporting our cycle properly, we tend to, most of us who have PMS, if you have any PMS symptoms, what that means is that you have insufficient levels of progesterone to balance out the estrogen during this phase, and that will give you all the PMS, right? It could be any and every symptom that you can think of that's associated with PMS, from headaches to mood swings to brain fog to fatigue to bloating, cravings, all of the above, right? And that, by the way, that's 10 to 12 days on average out of your month that you are suffering with those symptoms. And if you only have the symptoms of luteal phase, that's a significant amount of days out of every month, and you have that every single month. If you were to add up the amount of days that you have that level of symptom burden, that's a lot of your life for 4 decades. It's not acceptable. We should not accept the fact that this suffering is being sold to us as normal or just part of being a woman. It's absolute BS, because the research is in, and I'm about to lay that down on you in a second. Okay, so you guys are writing me about your periods. Yes, let me hear. I want to hear about all your periods. So that's the luteal phase. Then in the menstrual phase, what's the sort of common symptom burden that we have in the menstrual phase? It's cramps, but it can also be immune-related issues, because our immune system is slightly lower at this time. So you could find that you are constantly getting colds during your period, or you're more susceptible to inflammation or an inflammatory response. You may have an autoimmune issue at this time that can be feeling more problematic. So it's an interesting set of predictable symptoms. And I just kept looking at this and looking at this. You know how I am. I just keep like working this puzzle out in my mind. And I've been working on this for a long time, at least over a year. And I felt like we needed something new, a new way to address the fact that we have these predictable hormonal ratios and we have these predictable symptom burdens in each of these 4 phases. That, I asked myself, well, what if, because everybody asked me, like, oh, Alisa, what's the best supplement or the best food to fix my acne or to fix my PMS? What's the one thing? Everybody's looking for the one pill. And I started asking myself a question: what if we stopped asking what and we started asking when? When should we take certain things? Because, because of your infradian rhythm, and I'm just going to give a quick breakdown here for those of you who may not have heard about this before. We all have a circadian rhythm. It's one of the biological clocks of the body. It governs your 24-hour sleep-wake cycle and other key functions of the body, like blood pressure regulation and bowel function and other things that need a timed interval. Women in their reproductive years, and this is the groundbreaking research I put into In the Flow, have a second biological clock. It's called the infradian rhythm. And this you experience over the course of your menstrual cycle. However, it governs way more than just your period. It affects your brain, your metabolism, your stress response system, your immune response system, your reproductive system, your sex drive, and more, right? And so we cannot and should not take care of ourselves the same way each and every day. And when it comes to taking care of our period, if we're really going to support our cycle, we need to use, we need to use supplements strategically to address these particular hormonal ratios in each of the 4 phases so that we can prevent those symptoms, that symptom vulnerability that takes place in each of the phases from happening in the first place, right? No more spot treating after the fact, which doesn't really get you across the finish line as far as your desired outcome, but to really just prevent things from happening in the first place. And so that's what I've created. It's called the Cycle Syncing Supplement Kit, of course, because the cycle syncing method is the method that I created to help support your infradian rhythm. And I wanted to create a set of supplements to support each phase of your cycle as well. And I want to unbox this for you because I have the first kit here and I want to share it with you. And I want to tell you all about it and each one and invite you to experience it. Okay, so when you order, you're going to get a box and you're going to open the box. Inside the box, you're going to have a beautiful little image. There's going to be a postcard that explains, what to take and when and other things that you need to know. And then, and I know this is like, I should have had like some stand or something, but I'm not that fancy. And then inside you have your 4 bottles, okay? And I'm going to take them each out. You have one for the follicular phase, right? Obviously, one for each phase. One for the ovulatory phase, one for the luteal phase. I'm so not good at holding things and talking. And one for the menstrual phase, okay? So let's go through each one because this is really, really innovative. I wanted to make something that was truly going to be, a biohacking breakthrough for bleeders, something that was going to be a game changer for menstruation, something that you can use in conjunction with anything else that you're taking. So yes, Katie, if you're already taking a multivitamin, these are very special, highly targeted formulas that are not found commonly in any multivitamin. And for those of you who are taking the balance supplements, which we launched 3 years ago, there are no overlapping ingredients, and so you can take them synergistically because balance supplements are really about supporting your endocrine system, and these supplements are about supporting the 4 phases of your cycle and giving those phases targeted nutritional support. These do not replace balance. These work together because they do 2 different things. They have completely different ingredients. The balance supplements are ones that your endocrine system needs every single day to function. And these supplements are the ones that each unique phase of your cycle needs only during that phase, right? So you don't have to take them every single day. And this just really helps smooth out any of the symptoms that you're having with your cycle in a different way than balance is supporting your balance. I created for people, for everybody, because women, we all have micronutrient deficiencies from stress, from endocrine disruptors, from being on synthetic birth control, from recovering postpartum. Those are evidence-backed micronutrients that your whole endocrine system, from your brain to your ovaries, all the glands that are involved in the endocrine system, those are the basic building blocks they need every day to function. The cycle syncing supplement kit are targeted micronutrients, herbs, and adaptogens that really support that unique hormonal ratio in each of the 4 phases. So it's 2 very different things, and they work synergistically, which is great. I'm so glad, Stephanie, balance has changed your cycle in amazing ways. We hear that every day, and I'm so glad that that is the case, because that is why we do what we do, Flow Living, to make your hormones work better. So I want to take you through each of the formulas so you know what is in each one. So in the follicular phase, oh, and by the way, this kit, just so you know, because I also wanted to do my part to be environmentally conscious. So the bottles are glass, okay? That's why they're dark glass. And this kit is a 6-month supply. So you only would get 2 shipments a year, and these bottles will cover you for 6 periods. I know, I love it. Because then we don't have to send so much the packaging and the carbon emissions with the shipping, and I just thought that was so cool. So I hope you think that's cool too. I was just trying to think about everything as I could, best I could. Okay, so the follicular phase, as I said before, the issue is that we can have low energy. And so many of us reach for things that don't give us true energy, but are like a spot treatment. Like, how many of you cannot function without your caffeine? And please go watch my video about caffeine if you haven't already. But, I know that a lot of you feel like you cannot function without some caffeine, even if you're like, well, it's matcha, but it's still caffeine, okay? And so Oh, Paula, you can go to, I should put the link in. Let me, I try to think of everything, but it's impossible. Let me pull up the link for you. And then there are a ton of FAQs at the bottom, one of which covers the shipping conversation to Europe and other places. So here's the link for the supplements. Where you can find them. And this will also give you some information. All the way at the bottom, there's FAQ. You can look and see and get all the details there. So what was I saying? Okay, so I'm answering your questions. So as I mentioned, in the follicular phase, we have this lower energy, and so many of you are reaching for that caffeine, and you're feeling tired, you're feeling burnt out from having maybe over-exercised and under-eaten in the 2 phases prior. And what we need in this phase, and again, all of these supplements are based on like published research. The research is in. We don't have to guess anymore what's going to help us. The research is in. We don't have to guess. Now, with knowledge comes the power to make better choices in our strategic healthcare, especially around our periods. So with the follicular phase, the thing that's going to give you that deep support around actually creating energy in your cells so that you have more energy coming from inside the mitochondria, right? Which is this sort of tiny engine that powers your cells, every cell in your body. This formulation is a special coenzyme Q10 that's very bioavailable, that's going to give you that deep energy from within during the follicular phase. Also, added bonus is that coenzyme Q10 boosts egg quality. So for those of you who are thinking about someday in the future having children, having some regular dosing of coenzyme Q10 in your follicular phase right before you ovulate is a great way to support your egg health for the long term. So that's the follicular phase. Makes sense, right? And then in ovulatory phase, during that ovulatory phase, you have a surge of estrogen, but you also have a surge of testosterone. So even if you were feeling fatigued before and you weren't doing anything to support your cycle, you're going to feel a natural boost of energy from that testosterone during the ovulatory phase. So energy management is not the most important thing for you to focus on, and you don't necessarily need to continue taking your coenzyme Q10. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but there's so many things to do, so many supplements to take. Let's take them strategically at the right times when your body needs it most, so we don't have to waste a lot of time and money taking a lot of supplements, right? In the ovulatory phase, Tiffany, I'm so glad you found, I'm so excited. So exciting. So Marie, check the shipping information at the FAQ, okay? On the webpage that I posted. In the ovulatory phase, because of that excess estrogen surge, right, that you need to kick off the ovulatory process, to have the egg release, all of that. There's also FSH and LH and other things happening, but it's that you have the biggest surge of estrogen during ovulation than at any other time of the cycle over the shortest amount of time. What do we need here, right? We need some way to help our bodies break that estrogen down and get it out of our system as quickly as possible, right? And so many of us struggle with that, and that's how you have breakouts, if you're having mid-cycle pain, if you're having PMS in the latter half of your cycle. All of that points to your liver's challenge to break down estrogen, and it gets broken down in the liver, a little bit in the gut, and then it gets excreted by the bowels, right? And so there's this whole multi-step process to breaking down estrogen. But so many of us struggle with that because we're not eating in a way that supports this phase of our cycle, which, by the way, you can learn about in chapter 4 of In the Flow, has the specific foods for the ovulatory phase that help your liver break down that estrogen. So, Crystal, that's hilarious. Okay, so in the ovulatory phase, what do we need? What's going to really go the distance? We need a formulation that's going to contain something called DIM, which stands for 3-diindolyl methane, which is a mouthful, so we just call it DIM or DIM. This is a powerful compound derived from broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. And one of its key functions in the body is to help enhance estrogen breakdown. This is so, so important, right? And so DIM can really help this. So it helps the liver, it helps your body break this estrogen down, and it can really nip those estrogen excess symptoms during that ovulatory phase in the bud, right? We're giving the body, the liver especially, which is working extra hard during the ovulatory phase to break down that estrogen, we're giving the liver targeted support at the correct time when your body needs it most, and not the rest of the time, right? Just when your body needs it most. So that's the ovulatory product. So excited about that. Okay, then let's talk about the luteal phase. Luteal phase. If you're allergic, obviously, to any of these products, then that's a whole other conversation. Okay, luteal phase. All right, I'm having a hard time positioning this. Okay, so in the luteal phase, remember, the predictable hormonal pattern is estrogen and progesterone. The problem is most of us have more estrogen and not enough progesterone being down here, and we end up with PMS. The unique vulnerability here, the key driver of this, it's not stress, it's blood sugar. Why? Because if you remember what you learned in the flow about the infradian rhythm and its effect on your metabolism, in the second half of your cycle, right, your metabolism speeds up and you need 279 more calories per day in the luteal phase. The problem is we have been conditioned, right, to eat the same calories every day because, oh no, we're going to gain weight or whatever the issue is, but that we've been duped into thinking that we should eat the same caloric level every day because that's what works for men who do not have an infradian rhythm, who have been studied extensively, and women have been left out of a lot of medical fitness and nutrition research. So we've been operating with the wrong assumption about our calorie intake, and that makes us more vulnerable to the blood sugar instability that really creates a lot of problems in the luteal phase. Why? Why would blood sugar instability affect this progesterone issue? It exacerbates it. If your blood sugar and your insulin levels are all over the place, it suppresses progesterone production. It can actually delay ovulation in the following cycle. It's a big, big problem. So obviously, I wanted to formulate something for you that's going to really help. It's going to really help with addressing this special vulnerability in the luteal phase. So this is a special blend of adaptogens and supplements, chromium and cinnamon. Cinnamon is a powerful adaptogen that has been documented, researched to help stabilize blood sugar, as has chromium to help with insulin levels. It's a really powerful combination that's going to really address any of the, it'll help you compensate for, like, if you forget to eat your extra calories, or if it's a stressful day, or if you do a high intensity workout and you're not supposed to during that phase. It's going to help smooth out the impact of that on your delicate blood sugar balance during that luteal phase. So it's a really powerful tool and assist for the luteal phase. And I'm super, super excited for you to try that. Okay, glad, Jeannie, that is an aha moment for you. Okay, then let's talk about the menstrual phase. Okay, how many of you suffer from cramps? I was talking to a woman the other day for a project, and she admitted chasteberry is not included in this formulation of any of the formulas. Okay, so you can keep taking that on the side if you want. All the ingredients. Again, I wanted to make these very clean, simple formulations without a lot of add-ons, because the research shows that, these key nutrients that I have selected for these formulations really go the distance. They're going to give you the most bang for your buck, what your body needs strategically at that time, as opposed to a giant formulation with a ton of things. It's not as necessary, okay? So this is much more streamlined, much more targeted, much more efficient. And you can go on the web page that I linked in the comment section, and all of the ingredients are there for you to take a look at, but they're very, very straightforward. So this woman that I was talking to admitted to me that she had been on the couch all day dealing with cramps. She said this is her second day of her period, and her cramps are usually pretty intense the first 2 days. And I said, how long has that been going on? She's like, oh, probably 3 decades of my life. And I said, and you are okay with tolerating that? She's like, yeah, I've given myself permission to rest and, accommodate myself in my work schedule. I said, that's great. I said, but I just want to paint a picture frame around and point out to you the degree to which you have been conditioned to believe that you should tolerate this amount of suffering. And she was silent for a while. She's like, yeah. I said, just think about it this way. If guys had cramps, there'd be like a multi-billion-dollar research project that's funded. There'd be many, many products developed, pharmaceutical and otherwise, to solve this issue, because they have not been conditioned to tolerate suffering on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not just talking about the suffering you experience during your bleeding phase. I'm talking about all the symptom burden that you tolerate in each of the phases. You tolerate your mid-cycle breakouts, you tolerate your PMS, you tolerate your cramps, and you just say, well, just part of being a woman. It's outrageous. It's unacceptable. The research is in. We can do better. We know what works and we can do better. Okay. Anyway, so back to your cramps. um, so I wanted to create a formulation that was going to really target the inflammation and the uterine activity during this time, right? And so I have put together a very special and unique formulation here for you. So this is a formulation of quercetin and nettles. Now, anybody who knows anything about herbs knows how powerful nettles are, and how long in use they have been for women's menstrual health. Nettles are really special. They help replenish magnesium in the body, which can help with PMS. They can also help with a heavy flow. They're a good source of iron for any blood loss, and they can help the body address that cramping. And quercetin can do the same thing. Not only does quercetin help with cramps and reducing cramping, but it also can help with the inflammation that can take place during this particular phase of the cycle. We have a slightly modulated immune response due to that infradian rhythm effect, and our immune system's a little bit lower. We can have different responses to that, different inflammatory responses. We can just experience inflammation from the prostaglandin PGE2 that's creating a lot of uterine contraction. So the quercetin and nettles is really going to help offset that and really address your cramping in a very unique way. And I am so excited. Somebody mentioned, Crystal asked me the dose. Yeah, I'm getting that. So it's really simple. You take the boost. This is for the follicular phase. You take one a day for your follicular week. It's about 7 days. And by the way, it's a 6-month supply. There's plenty of extras. So if everybody's cycle length is different and unique, so I got you covered. There's a lot in here for 6 months. And if you have a longer cycle and you go through them fast, you just reach out to us. We'll send you a kit sooner. No big deal. Yes, Liz, nettle leaf, Samhyana. You can get everything on the web link. Let me just repost it right here. And that's where you can find everything. Okay, so the follicular you take once a day for about 5 to 7 days. The ovulatory, which is called metabolize because it helps you metabolize estrogen, the DIM, you're going to take that once a day for about 5 days. And even though you only ovulate for about 3 days, we want that sort of bookend effect to just help your liver have this in supply when it needs it. Then for the luteal phase, which is called sustain because it helps sustain healthy levels of blood sugar, you're going to take this once a day for about 12 days, right, to help you with your PMS. And then the menstrual product is called Soothe, to soothe your cramps. You're going to take this twice a day, spread it out, breakfast and lunch, breakfast and dinner, something like that, for the length of your bleed, okay? Approximately 5 days. So that's the story. That's the new product. I'm so excited about it because I just felt like at this point, it's been long overdue for us to have a natural solution that helps improve the quality of our cycle every day of the cycle, not to just wait when you're having problems. And like I've kept saying, the research is in. We know which micronutrients create positive change in our hormones. This is published research. You can look it up on the NIH, on PubMed. And with knowledge comes the power to do better with our self-care and expect more from our body's performance. And I think it is way time to expect better for our period and just period in general for our healthcare. So I am so proud to have created the first biohacking kit for each unique phase of your cycle. It's called the Cycle Syncing Supplement Kit. I hope that you give it a try. It launched today, which is why I am here talking to you on a Tuesday. And in celebration of this new cycle syncing kit, of course, and for you to be taking action, I always celebrate any woman who takes action around taking care of her hormones, because again, you've been conditioned to do nothing, to be a passive victim around your period problems, which is just such an oppressive set of myths and nonsense that has to just end. I want to celebrate you taking action. I want to celebrate the new kit. So if you purchase today and you use, let me get the code right, and you use the code Cycle Kit. Okay, here, let me put that in the, I love fun gifts, right? We're celebrating. I have been working on this so long. So this is the code. So you're going to put that in when you order, and you're going to get 1 free month of Flow 28, which is full access to the Cycle Syncing membership, where you get workout videos for each phase of the cycle, grocery lists and shopping lists and recipes and meal plans for each phase of the cycle, access to the time management planner that incorporates your infradian rhythm, and to the private community where I meet with you monthly to give master classes on how to live an infradian life in a circadian world. You're also going to get the Secrets of Cycle Syncing masterclass, so that you're going to learn from me how to adjust your workouts to maximize fat burning and energy, to get more done by doing things at the right time, to create more fun and creativity. I mean, all the juicy things, right? Then you're also going to get the Flow Guide to Glowing Skin. This is based on the 4 phases of your cycle to help you understand how to cycle sync your skincare, right? Because, by the way, your hormones don't just change throughout the cycle, they also affect your skin. Your skin is thicker and thinner at different times, more active sebaceous glands. Anyway, I break it all down for you in the skincare guide. It's so cool. You're going to get that too. And you're going to get the Biohacking Your PMS guide as well, which is just in case you are dealing with any of these issues with PMS. I want to teach you some additional things you can be doing with food and lifestyle changes that are going to really help you address this, because PMS is just so, any cycle issue can be resolved quickly if you know what you're doing. I'm just going to put all those lovely gifts in the chat. Okay. Now I want to answer maybe some questions. I heard somebody was talking about, what if you're on the pill or coming off the pill? If you're coming off the pill, first of all, work with your doctor, get yourself on the balanced supplements at ASAP, because you are definitely experiencing micronutrient depletion from exposure to synthetic birth control. And then as soon as your cycle comes back and you have a cycle pattern again, get yourself on the Cycle Syncing supplement kit. If you have an irregular cycle, right, massively irregular, where you don't get a period for months and months at a time, then hold on for balance. For Cycle Syncing supplement kit, and get on balance and do monthly flow, the monthly flow program, because you got to really address what those root causes of that cycle irregularity are, so that you can restore your cycle and get back and get yourself on the Cycle Syncing supplement kit to really help support your cycle going forward and maintain a good, healthy cycle. If you're on birth control, get on the balanced supplements to help with that micronutrient depletion, but you don't have a cycle. So you can't really use the Cycle Syncing supplement kit. I could tell you, yeah, sure, take it, but that's not me. That's not in integrity with the facts. And the facts are, yes, Crystal, the code, I'm going to put it again, is this. Here, code for gifts is that. Okay. You don't really have a cycle. You don't have any of these phases. You don't even have a period. That's just breakthrough bleeding, which can go away over time, depending on the type of contraception you're using, synthetic contraception. So this is, something that you want to think through. You can download our free birth control rehab guide. You can learn more about the ills of the pill in the flow, on our blogs, on video, all the Facebook videos. You can learn more about what you want to do. But if you don't have a cycle because you're on birth control, then you don't need the cycle syncing supplement kit. If you're coming off the birth control and you have your cycle back, get on them to maintain a good, healthy cycle. If you are, I'm trying to think any other things that I can think of. Oh yes, if you have a slightly longer cycle, then you want to track your basal body temperature so that you can understand which of the phases is delayed or extra long, right? Sometimes women will have a delayed ovulation, and sometimes women will have a what's called progesterone or luteal phase insufficiency, and they'll have a longer luteal phase. So first identify that, and then I think it's really, really important to get yourself on balance first. Again, these are two different products that do two different things. The balance supplements, that's the first supplement kit that I launched. That has to do with addressing all the micronutrient deficiencies that are part of the root cause of your hormonal condition, right? You could have PCOS or endometriosis or fibroids or things of that nature, right? Idiopathic infertility. The cycle syncing supplement kit is really about delivering strategically timed, effective superfoods, herbs, adaptogens, micronutrients for each phase of the cycle when your body needs it most. Two very different things, and there are no overlapping ingredients, so you can use them both together. Crystal wants me to touch on PMDD. I actually have a Facebook Live and a blog that we're coming out just focusing on PMDD. So when I do that, I'll touch on it more. But what I'll say is that PMDD has a really interesting neurochemical component around GABA usage. So, and they found that there are some direct relationships in the research between PMDD and OCD as far as the brain. It doesn't mean that if you have PMDD, you have OCD, but it means that both types of these conditions, PMDD and OCD, struggle with GABA usage. And so sometimes that can be something that people are looking into to address that. But, you know, that's a whole other conversation. Your cycle can be supported, and PMDD, you know, can be exacerbated by all of those different hormonal changes and the symptom vulnerabilities that typically take place. So a kit like this can really be something that you can explore to see if it helps mitigate the sort of, you know, where you are on that PMDD symptom spectrum, right? Because it's a complex condition. So I hope that's a good quick answer, and I promise to give more soon. Trying to think of other common questions that could, let me go and think through the FAQs myself. It's a 6-month supply. We talked about the difference. Let's see, we talked about what's in the kit. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about everything. We talked about the pill. You guys have any questions, let me know. Can you take other supplements alongside the cycle syncing? Absolutely. Like I said, these formulations are so unique to this particular, and you're only taking them for a few days each. It's really about supercharging your body at that particular time with a particular targeted supplement that's going to help your body do what it needs to do to offset what's happening hormonally. So I think it's really, really important. That is, you know, something to consider. And so you can absolutely benefit from taking whatever supplements you're currently taking and adding these into the mix. It doesn't have to be an either or. Crystal, you need to do some research on the GABA and figure out what it is. You might need to do some testing to figure out what your GABA usage is. Do you burn through it too quickly? So you can't just start taking a GABA supplement. You want to really test your GABA situation through saliva testing. Find a functional practitioner who can do that in your area, and then you would figure out the right next strategy. Some of you guys are asking about, are the supplements vegan, vegetarian? We probably will be able to work on that in the future, but as for right now, these formulations, we needed to make sure that these were going to get into your system properly, and so this is what we have for now. So for those of you who can't take them, I'm sorry, because of your because of vegan issue, the vegetarian preference. I totally understand. But we're talking about some of the things that are in the capsules, not in the products themselves. Everything in the products themselves is herbs and micronutrients and things of that nature. You're welcome, Autumn. So that is my big reveal for today. I am so excited. Spread the word. This is what I hope, like I said, a breakthrough for bleeders everywhere, a game-changing way for us to take care of our cycle. It's a 6-month supply. 6-month supply with one order. I love that. Really affordable, really environmentally conscious, and I'm just so eager for every woman to start really cycle syncing her cycle with strategic support right when her body needs it. And I hope that you give it a try and take advantage of all the free gifts for the launch week. And don't forget that the paperback version of In the Flow is out today. So pick up your copy, share it with people. And listen, like I said at the beginning, I'm on a mission with Flow Living to build the products and the platform that make dealing with your hormonal life just better. And it's a lot of work, and I could use your help in spreading the word. So please tag a friend for this video, and share what we're working on with the women you care about. Let them know about the book. Let them know about the supplements. Tell them about share our social. Tag us on Instagram. All of those things. It really would be a help. To help spread the word. And Liz, you absolutely can take balance and the cycle syncing supplements together. There are no overlapping ingredients, so you can take them synergistically. They work really well together. Thank you, Tiffany. I am doing all that I can do and that I know to do to help make your hormonal life just a better one, as opposed to what we have been experiencing for millennia, which is unnecessary suffering. It's just long overdue. The science is here. We can do better, and we will. So thank you for joining me today for this big announcement. Spread the word. Biohacking for Bleeders is officially updated. We have a new product. We have a new kit. I hope it changes the game for your period. And I can't wait to hear how you experience them. And what your experience of your cycle becomes as a result of using this product. So please keep me posted. And thank you so much for your support. It means so much. All right, ladies, until next time, take very good care of your cycle, your infradian rhythm, your ovaries, and I am going to speak to you again very, very soon.